Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Pony Talk Podcast. I am your host, Deshi101, and today, guys, I am once again here joined by Chris, the wonderful Chris. And, we are going to do, well, episode 15, Triple Threat. It is Triple Threat, okay. Just had to make sure of that. Anyway, we have a very interesting topic. Well, sort of interesting. This episode, I definitely want to say, had a taste, but it definitely was one of those filler episodes, and Chris here definitely agrees as well.
Yeah. Wasn't as good though.
Yeah, it was good, but I don't know. Something about it. I don't know if it was like, just how the mood of the episode felt, or just, I don't know. But it was great to see two amazing characters, which will be announced in here just a minute. So guys, let's jump right in to the episode. Episode 15, Triple Threat, as I said before. And, yeah. So, once again, Ponyville. We are in beautiful Ponyville, as always, mostly. Our hometown, home base, whatever you want to call it. And we have, well, it seems like a little party is being set up. But it's a welcoming for Ember. We get to see Ember back in the episode, guys. Amazing. Gauntlet of Fire was really good. I really did enjoy that episode. I know it consists of dragons and all that, and who doesn't like dragons these days? I mean, come on now. Medieval, I mean, Skyrim, all these amazing games, just based around the medieval times, it's just been phenomenal. So, and we get to kind of come back to that. But, they are setting up this, festival, well, the town of Ponyville are. They're getting the town hall all fancied up, hanging this really nice, beautiful banner, and ice sculptures, a fountain. I don't know if it was like a friendship fountain or something like that, but it seemed pretty interesting. It had like a little crystal and all that cool stuff. But Spike is there, of course, doing, well, Spike-related stuff. He's got checklists, making sure everything's properly set up. But this time, he's definitely sounding a lot like some pony that we know very well. And that would be, of course, Twilight. He's sounding a lot like Twilight right now. He's super stressed. He wants this to go out just right. He wants this to be perfect for Ember, so Ember doesn't end up, disliking or not wanting to return to Ponyville. So Spike is freaking out, and Starlight comes over and she goes, "Spike, are you alright?" And Spike's like, "Does it look like I'm alright? I'm doing all this stuff, and it just needs to be perfect." And then this is where she goes and says, "You're acting a lot like Twilight." And this is where Twilight kind of comes over and chuckles and kind of looks. Well, I think this is where Thorax comes in. He flies into Ponyville, and then Spike remembers, oh boy, yeah. And then Thorax goes on saying, "Oh, hi Spike, you invited me over for today, so what do you want to do?" And Spike was like, "Oh my god, I forgot." And then Thorax keeps going on with this conversation, but he's kind of trotting, looking at all the decorations and all that, saying, "Wow, you set this place up so nice. Thank you for the welcoming to the town thing. This looks really nice and pretty." And then he gets distracted by, I think, an ice sculpture of Ember. So he's like, "Ooh, is that a dragon ice sculpture?" Runs over there, and Twilight kind of nudges Spike, saying, "You invited Thorax the same day you invited Ember." And Spike starts basically getting kind of even more tense than he was with just Ember. He totally forgot Thorax was supposed to come over too, the same day. Well, he didn't intend it to be on the same day, but sort of happened. Which, a very kind of relatable episode in my opinion. I know I've done that a couple of times. I've planned something, and I accidentally messed up on the schedule, and I'm going to actually turn this off, because my monitor is having a party flash over there. Seems like a little party's going on in the back corner of my desk. Anyway, yeah, I know, just that MLG. No, guys, I'm joking. Anyway, Twilight's like, yeah, you invited both Ember and Thorax over. And Spike gets really carried away, and he says, oh my god, something's bad's gonna happen. Ember and Thorax are probably not gonna like each other. He's jumping to conclusions, and then he starts announcing, oh, this is the end of Equestria. We're going to live in a world with war. Dragons against the changelings. It's not gonna be a good thing. This is the end. And Twilight's like, oh, Spike, you're just getting over exaggerated. And then Spike's like, I just know something bad's going to happen. And Twilight says, well, I'll try to help as best as I can. And Thorax comes back and says, wow, you really got the place set up and all this. So what do you want to do, Spike? And Spike's like, actually, Twilight wants to show you around the castle, or we'll go to the castle. And Thorax's like, oh? And then Twilight's like, yeah, I'll give you a little tour of the castle. And I think this is where she spots, both Starlight and her spot Ember kind of flying in. I know Spike kind of gives a little bit of a signal, but she sees Ember, and both Twilight and Thorax start heading to her place, while Ember makes a dramatic entrance, and this is where the musicians come in with their trumpets and their horns and all this beautiful stuff. And I think this is where Ember kind of scares the ponies by I don't know if she said something, oh god. But I know she made like a little bit of fire. Oh yeah, it burns the banner. Yeah, the banner on the town hall, and that's when the ponies kind of start going away. And she's like, huh, I thought ponies were the same as dragons. Mostly they want to come and approach me, but unfortunately for this case, no. So Spike's like, oh, Ember, hi. He's like, so how have you been? And Ember's like, well, I've been good, but yeah, so set up for a friendship day or something like that. Spike's like, yeah. And actually, where I don't know if they went to the castle. I don't think they did. I think they went like to explored a little bit of Ponyville. And I think Starlight joined them. I'm not sure, but no, I think they did go to the castle. Yeah, because oh god, Twilight is over. Or no, Ember says that she wants to go take a look at the castle, and this is where Spike comes in and says, well, I guess, and this is where Starlight's like, I really like this girl or something like that. I don't know, but Starlight is now saying, ooh, this character seems nice and stuff. I totally forgot what she said, but yeah. So Spike is having sweat literally droop down his face, and we flash to a scene where Twilight and Thorax are in the library, and Twilight has chairs. She's juggling chairs, I think. Very interesting. And we're kind of like, what? But anyway, I I think this is where we flash back to Spike. They enter into the castle, and Spike's like, oh, phew, they're not here. And Ember's like, what did you say? And he's like, I just said that the castle's clean. And starts sweating again, and she's like, okay. And then I think this is, I don't know if Starlight or Spike brought this up, but I think they brought something about the dining room or something like that. We got a all-you-can-eat buffet up there waiting for you. And Emma was like, oh, okay, cool. But this is the funny part. While we go to the dining room, Starlight and Spike are sitting down in the back, just looking at Ember eat. Not eating the food, but the actual dining equipment. So the vegetable bucket, I guess you want to say, or bin, whatever you want to call it, she is literally eating because it's made out of crystal and gems, basically. Dragons love them. So then this is where Starlight kind of like nudges Spike and says, Twilight's probably not going to be happy when she sees her walls being bitten off of, and Ember is now over eating the post to hold up the castle. And at this part, I just wanted to kind of mention this. I literally thought the castle probably would have collapsed in a way. Did you think about that too?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Oh god, that would have not been good at all.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Oh. So, yeah, Ember is just enjoying her meal, even though the castle, is not to eat, of course, but, they didn't want to tell her that because Spike had a feeling she would probably get upset at him or something like that. But I think this is where Spike kind of like, oh, I'll be back, and she goes and finds Twilight and, Thorax, and this is where Twilight's still, doing with the chairs and stuff. I think I jumped to that scene a little too quickly, but yeah, Twilight's in there juggling chairs, because why not? And Thorax's like, oh, okay, Twilight, so, what do you want me to see, or something like that. And Spike runs in, and Thorax's like, oh, hi, Spike. He's like, I'm glad to see ya. Twilight's over here, and she really likes her chairs. And, it was funny. That was really funny.
Yeah, it was cringy, that part.
Cringy. Oh my god. So, we're like, okay. So, Thorax is like, so you have me over, and what do you want to do? And, he's like, well, why not, let's, go out to eat or something. He's like, oh, okay, let's go to the dining area. And he's like, no. He's like, castle food, bleh. That stuff is just disgusting. You don't want to taste it. How about we go to, in town, because they got a way better food there, and you'll be satisfied, so come on. And, of course, he follows. And Twilight, I'm not sure if she follows or... Yeah, she follows, because Spike literally grabs her, and then the chairs fall down. Yeah. So, at, Ponyville Square, we are over there. Thorax is sitting down at table with Spike, and, Thorax is now talking about... Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, okay. I guess, I don't know if the mic cut out or something, I don't know.
Oh, that's fine. I was yawning.
Oh. Anyway, Thorax and Spike are kind of having a little conversation, but yet Spike is kind of multitasking, kind of looking for... Oh, no! No. Scratch that. They actually go to, the throne room, because Thorax, goes along with them, but, Spike, I remember, grabs Twilight, throws her into the throne room, and, kind of explains, I can't do this and stuff, and she's like, yes, you can. And this is where Spike's spikes start glowing, just like if, a pony was getting called to the cutie map. But this time, it's, ahead of Spike, floating around, well, Ponyville. Spike has to solve a friendship problem. Now, what could that friendship problem be, precisely? So, Spike's like, what? Friendship problem? Now I have to find this? And Twilight's like, don't worry, Spike, you'll figure it out. And he's like, oh my god, I don't think I can do this. And, this is where he definitely wants to go in Ponyville. And, Thorax, of course, joins him, and they're sitting at a table. And he's looking around, asking ponies and folks, saying, oh, friendship problem, and starts creeping some civilians out, which was kind of funny. But then stumbles across these two ponies, a mare and a colt, fighting over a stool. Apparently one got there first, then the other. And Spike's like, oh, I got an idea. Goes over with his stool, sits down, and says, so, I'm guessing you guys need help with a friendship problem. Here, I fixed that. Instead of one stool, you have two stools. So, there you go, and they literally booty bump him out, and they're sitting together like nothing happened. It's all good. And Spike looks on top of him if his spikes are glowing. Of course they're not, because he hasn't found the right clue yet. But he goes back with Thorax, and Thorax then starts telling him his problem that he's having as the king of the changelings, or the emperor of the changelings, I should say. He starts explaining his feelings, what's going on, and Spike's kind of listening but kind of looking over for more friendship problems, and he's having a bunch of sweat, but not as much when he sees Starlight and Ember, and I think Twilight is there too, walking down, getting closer, and Spike then says, hold that thought, Thorax, I need to go, I need to do this, and he's like, oh, okay, it's not like I needed to talk about anything, just leave me again. Going into his normal mood, I guess you could say, his depressing mood. Yeah. So, back at Ember. Ember is like, oh, what are you guys trying to show me and stuff? I thought we were here for a friendship day or something like that. And, she sees Spike. Well, come back. And Spike's back, and this is where oh yeah, I think Starlight, start talking about stuff, and this is where Ember brings up, oh, both of you two look the same and stuff. So now we're going into Starlight acting a lot like Twilight now, which is kind of funny because she starts pointing out, oh, your cutie marks have all those sparkly things. They look the same. Purple mane, purple coat. I mean, come on now. And this is where Spike comes in, and they're kind of mad at Ember now. And Spike's like, oh, hi, Ember. How's Friendship Day going? And she's like you would know. You're abandoning me, like, every time. Are you trying to avoid me? And she starts getting mad. And it's not looking good. So, after that, I guess, oh god.
Yeah.
I don't know if Starlight and Twilight kind of blow at, Ember, and Spike's involved with that, and then Spike gets hurt a little bit, I think. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that happens. But anyway, Thorax is still sitting at this booth, but he catches that out of the corner of his eye, and he says, hey, you hurt my Spike? Oh, you're gonna hate what happens. And turns into a bear. So obviously, hence Changeling, they still can transform into different things, so that's not gone. But yeah, so Ember's like, oh yeah, and now she's willing to fight. And guess what? Spike's worst nightmare comes alive. And oh my god, he's like, oh, it's happening! And starts having his panic attack. And right before they were about to collide with each other, we get these two crazy themes mashed together. And this is where Spike says, oh god, I've done it now. Equestria is gonna fall in this war because of me. And he goes, stop! And they both stop and look at him, and he's just sad, and just poor Spike, just all confused with all this, and just overheated with this situation. And Ember then says, stay away, Spike, I'm trying to defend you. And Thorax is like, no, Spike, I'm trying to defend you. And then Ember goes in, wait, you're trying to protect him? And Thorax is like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And Spike is still continuing with his crazy moment, saying, oh god, everyone's gonna hate me, Equestria is doomed. And he keeps talking and then realizes it's silent and looks at them and says, oh. And they're like, okay, Spike, what's really going on here? And he tells them a whole story. I accidentally invited both of you the same day. And their reaction is, so, whatever. And it's kind of funny, because Spike is like, huh? But I would think you guys would have got jealous and stuff. And now this starts to kind of tick him off a little bit and says, oh, if you didn't want so-and-so here and stuff, then I shouldn't be here. And that sets off Ember, and then Spike's like, I'm so sorry, Thorax, and he's like, that's alright. And Spike's like, oh, good. And then he goes into, because you know what? You kept leaving me and abandoned me because you thought this whole stupid thing would happen, so I'm out of here. Flies on his own, and Spike's like, oh god, they hate me. And yeah, so we cut scene to Thorax by a pond, and then Ember flies down and says, hey, what are you doing here? And Thorax is like, oh, I'm having this issue with changelings and stuff, you know, they never want to listen to me or anything, and it's just every time I do something, it's just and Ember's like, hey, look at me. And she's like, this is what you need to do. And he goes, what? And then she's like, that. And it's like, huh? And he's like, what I saw there for you to defend Spike and change into that bear thing, that was amazing. That's what you need to do to get your people's attention, or your army's attention, basically. You need to show them that, hey, I'm boss here, I mean order right now. And yeah, and Thorax is like, huh, that's actually pretty good information, thank you. And she's like, no prob. And then I think this is where Thorax says, so what's up with your friendship problem? And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. And then I think this is where she grabs the ginormous boulder, throws it up in the air, and I don't know if she burns it or something, or blows it up. Well, it explodes into a bunch of different little rock pieces, of course. But anyway, oh god. Oh yeah. Then Thorax finally gets a story, and she's like, so, you know, dragons want to do all this cool stuff, but all they want to do is fight and do this. They don't want to listen to me either. And then Thorax goes on and gives his personal opinion on what she should do for them to, you know, kind of harmonize, I guess, in a say, and listen to one another, instead of fighting all the time. And these two friends start getting along. Well, Ember's like, well, you know what? That sounds a lot like something that we need to fix now. And Thorax is like, wait, what? And then he's like, oh, Spike, that's right. And then he flies off. Back at Ponyville, they're cleaning up all the festivities because they think it's all over, all done. Spike's ruined it. It's not good. They hate him. And he's cleaning up the mess. And they both fly down. And he's like, oh. He's like, what do you two want? He's like, you guys probably hate me. And they're like, you guys are probably mad at me too. And they're like, and then Ember's like, yeah. And I was kind of confused at this point. I don't know about you, Chris. Why Ember was kind of like getting in Spike's face and stuff. I was like, is she kind of trying to teach him something? Or, which obviously she was kind of trying to do that. But in, I guess, a joking way, but Spike, I guess, didn't find it joking. He's like, well, you guys can hate me, I don't care. And, then Thorax starts coming on and starts talking about the whole thing. And that's where they start harmonizing. And he's like, I don't, he's like, if you guys don't forgive me, then I guess I was bad. I thought you guys wouldn't be friends and all this. And he was like, please forgive me. And of course, they forgive him. They're like, we understand, Spike, but just because we're two leaders and stuff doesn't mean that we won't get along and stuff. This is just a thing. You gotta look at the obvious first before just predicting something, And he's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, I'm really sorry. And they're like, apology accepted. And I think this is where they hug together. And this is where Ember's like, oh, this thing again. Which is funny because she's not used to this hugging thing. And Spike's spikes start glowing, meaning his friendship problem is solved. That's the whole friendship problem. Well, obviously in the story, we pretty much could tell why. But this is where Spike was like, well, I figured out the friendship problem. And Twilight's like, I know, good job, Spike. And she's like, I'm so proud of you and all this. And they have the little ceremony again. It goes back on a second time. And this is where they announce the friendship awards to Thorax and Ember. And the ponies, of course, cheer and all this. And I think this is where Ember gets her allergies, I guess you could say, and ends up blowing fire again, just melting the ice statue of all Thorax, Ember, and I think it had Spike and Twilight. I'm not sure. I really couldn't see it. But yeah, it's melted by her flame, and she's like, "Oops." And then they look at each other and laugh. And guess what, guys? That's a wrap on the episode. Episode 15. Woo! Okay. A lot to say in that episode. But guys, there was kind of a moral lesson in there. Don't judge people, you gotta kind of look at the obvious and pinpoint out stuff, You can't just go judging, oh, this person's not gonna get along with this person. A lot to be said, but very, very well. It was very good. Again, it was more of a filler episode, but it still was really good. So, Chris, do you have anything to elaborate on that?
Nope. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I wouldn't say it's a horrible episode at all. I think it was good. It was cute. If that's the word to use in this point, I don't know. It was good. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Did you guys like seeing Ember's return and Thorax's return in one episode with Spike? It definitely was very interesting seeing these two bond and Spike's crazy thoughts going through his head. But it was definitely a cute little episode, and I wouldn't mind seeing them. I don't really have too much else to say, guys. But I do have this. If you guys want to join in on, Pony Talk, want to join us for a Pony Talk podcast, please, down in the description, let me know, and I'll try to hook you up as soon as possible. So, yeah. But, thank you once again, Chris, for coming out once again for episode 15. It means a lot, as always. Any of you guys who come on, it really warms my heart. And I'm hoping to get more people on here, and we can have just a huge collab. Maybe I'll do a Pony Talk podcast live stream. That'd be pretty cool. What do you think about that idea?
I think it's a good idea.
And we could have Rainbow Dash 47 maybe, you, and maybe Party Magic and a couple of other people that want to join. I don't know. But guys, that is all we have for this week's Pony Talk. Now, there were 2 that happened, so you're gonna get 2 this week, but 2's the charm, isn't it?
Yep.
So guys, that's all I have, and until next week's Pony Talk podcast, thank you so much for watching, guys. Really means a lot, so please don't forget to like, share, favorite, and also subscribe, guys. And as always, we will see you in the next Pony Talk podcast, guys. Peace out. Bye, every pony.